Hello. How's it going?
Don't you know I'm still standing?
Yeah.
Hi, guys.
Hi. Hi, Voz.
Hi, Voz.
Hello. Good to see you as always. Ah. What a week, huh?
My brother in Christ, it's Tuesday.
Mm-hmm. It's fine. We're managing. Wow. New project hype. We always have new project hype.
You, Tony Stark, me. I think I did okay. Actually, I didn't realize I could do some weathering on some of these weapons, so I'm gonna go do that.
Ooh. Yes, that's to say doing their mini painting.
Yeah.
I'm in the 3D zone. So lots of fidgeting, I imagine, is what's going to be happening today.
Whopper, Junior Whopper.
So this is slightly awkward because you and me have actually hung out in person already this week. So we're in the curl situation where it's like, well, a lot of the topics that we probably would have talked about, we've talked about really recently.
Oh, I can still talk about stuff.
Oh, of course, we're not going to be just sat here in silence for 3 hours. There'll probably be some silence because of concentrating on things.
Yeah. No, there is stuff we can talk about because I didn't assault your brain with Warhammer stuff. So because if I did that in person, you could have thrown something at me.
I mean, I can always kick you from the call if I get bored.
Wow.
As if I do that. So yeah, for those who don't know, I'm making a new VRC base. The time has come. I've ruminated on it enough.
Time has come.
I'm making another one. And yesterday we started from cube. We've decubified the cube to make it body shaped, and as you can see, we're so rough it's not even worth referring to this as a character yet. It sure is a shape.
I run into the issue I have with previous where I made all of my Marines have the really cool, not really an issue, but I have all my Marines having the very cool idea of, hey, here's all the like sergeant-based weapons, so like power fists and chain swords and all this other stuff for this unit, and I'm like, that's really cool. I'd love to do each one of them with this thing. It's like, okay, no, guys, for real, this one is the only one which is a sergeant. Everyone else here just has chainswords. I promise. I promise. I just wanted. There's 10 of them. I just wanted to make them cool. I didn't want to have to do a chainsword 9 fucking times.
Yep. Regret.
In fairness, my local tends to be kind of cool with that because we had someone who popped into the thing going, if it doesn't perfectly reflect the model, like, I'll just refuse to play them. And everyone went, you, sir, are tit.
Cool. Have fun doing nothing because no one will play with you.
Yeah, it's one of those things of like, well, I won't play with someone if they do that, expecting other people to say, yeah, me too. And instead everyone just goes, what if we just don't play with you? Like, in fairness, though, it wasn't just like a no, get out kind of thing. There was a lot of like, respect your decision. It's not the one I agree with, though. Which is the polite way of saying, no, that's not what we do here. You know, that's the polite way to do the T'Challa. We don't do that here. First thing I have to do with these flamers is go over them with a purple on the steel, and then I put my bronzing effect over it. The reason you do that is you're trying to make these look like they have kind of the hue, like you've ever seen metal that's been that kind of absurdly hot. It tends to have like a bit of a purple hue in it.
Oh yeah, yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, that kind of burnished, shimmery kind of
Exactly.
effect that they get.
Exactly. Hope you're well, Voss.
I'm currently in the tricky phase of like, right, adding on a head. Ooh. Ugh.
My brain thought it was very clever there for a second. It was like add on a head, and I went, the anti-King Henry VIII. The frog is somewhat unwell,
Aww.
bit of a cough, and I'm like, okay, you go in that room. I'm gonna go in this room. She is now in the office with me again, but of course, me. Our things are so differently like spaced from each other. It's like, yeah, there's like totally different spaces to each other, so we're kind of okay. That and we're away from each other all day, so it's also fine.
Yeah,
To
you,
ensure
you,
that
you don't have to talk to me when I was stuck in the flat with Spook when he had COVID.
yeah,
I don't know how he tested positive and I didn't get a single a blip as soon as we were like, oh, okay, time to move all your stuff into the living room. But then, as some people pointing out, it's like, but you're not making him sleep in the living room. You're letting him sleep in the bed. And I'm like, well, yeah, because he's sick. I don't want to put him in an uncomfortable sleeping situation. He has to sleep. And I still didn't catch COVID, so
that is called luck.
yes.
The other thing that's very key to do with this when I'm doing it is to go from start to finish, as in, you take one Marine, you do the piece on him, and then you put him in one location, and then you put the other ones that are finished next to him, and you repeat that process, knowing which one of them is the first one, and then you reach back to him eventually.
Mm.
So it's like, I have done all these other Marines, so you have had time to dry, so I'll move on to you again. Yeah, I'm actually liking how that looks. Been a weird little stop and go feeling with D&D over the last few times. Where I'm like,
Yeah, we got
yeah,
so
let's go, we're back.
we got so hyped to be just like, we're back, and we got 2 sessions in, and then it's like, oops, player availability, we can't play. Yeah, this is again no D. I keep like I have an updated schedule that has like, oh, Plight of Princes is on Wednesdays that I keep meaning to post. But every time I'm like, I need to post that, it's like, oh, we're actually not playing it this week. So I'm like, oh, I don't want to post the schedule if it's wrong, so I'll just not post it for this week. But the schedule that's already up is still wrong, so I'm like, both of them are wrong. So I guess maybe more Cult of the Lamb, or maybe Palia, because I had an email this week being like, hey, we've done an update to Palia, and now you can befriend the dog. And I'm like, let me befriend the dog.
I already befriended the dog. It's called our friendship over the last 8 years.
Not a dog.
The canine.
11 years.
Wow.
Everything you said was wrong. Hello, Core.
Hi, Core. Okay, that should give them a nice little burnished look to them. I'm going to ignore that headless Marine. He's fine. He can be. I want someone else. I was wrong, Core. Is anything else a shock? Oh, fuck. Several things just clicked in my back. Oh, Christ. Ah. So you're making a... So I missed yesterday. So we're making a new virtual avatar base.
Yes. Much like the cobble, so this is going to be a base that people can buy and retexture / modify to their preference.
Desires, yes.
Yesterday, we spent a little bit of time in Clip Studio. I thought I would spend the entire day there, but it was maybe like hour and a half, so half the stream, in Clip Studio, sketching out ideas and like writing down what I want to do. So the general idea is it's going to be an owl. But picture the Rito from Breath of the Wild, but instead of all the Rito art seem to be based off like hawks
Birds
or
of
something.
Paradise kind of thing.
Not Birds of Paradise, no.
I would have thought they. Sorry. Okay. I guess they have adornments which make them look more. Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah,
All right. Moving on properly.
Did you mean to say Bird of Prey, or did you actually mean Birds of Paradise?
Yes.
Cool. Because, funnily enough, I was going to say Birds of Prey, but I was like, owls are also Birds of Prey, so that is incorrect. But yeah, I mean, you can see from these two here, they tend to have pointed beaks. They tend to have slightly hawk, eagle-ish looks to them, whereas I decided I wanted to make something that was more owl-based. And yeah, so I gathered references, got this Rito concept art, wrote down some things that I want to do, like toggles that we could potentially put in. I sketched over some of these photos and the Rito, but also took like some tweaks into account. So like, I commented, one of the major changes for me as someone who plays birds quite a bit, that their artistic choice on how like their arm comes in quite substantially in the upper arm for the Rito, and I'm like, it's technically not good for wings if you want to fly, so I won't be doing that, and various other choices.
Continue my earlier point. We don't do that here.
That's fine stylistically. I just don't want to do that. It's very much going to be Rito inspired, but I'm not making a Rito. Yeah. So we sketched some of these out and ended up with sort of this sketch of essentially the Rito body with one of the owl heads stitched on top, and then just the list of stuff. And that was when I was like, at that point, I was like, I guess I'll start going into Blender and start getting a rough body put in. So we started from cube, and now we are here in very, very rough body shape things. And as I said, I'm now trying to put the head in. So, tricky. Speaking of birds, I said I didn't get a pic of it, but I saw a blue jay today. Oh my god, I love blue jays. I'm sad we don't have them in this country.
I was going to make a comment of another sentences that you can share with Frankenstein. Gotta get the head in.
So yeah, so as you can tell, I have the new project buzz.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I think there is, not gonna lie, chat, a large part of it is also making sure that I'm still making stuff even if I don't have commissions. Because I don't.
She doesn't have commissions. People with money that are responsible adults don't commission her.
Only you can stop Blue from starving. Just draw that as one of them posters.
Spook in the background. Am I a joke to you? It's like that fucking gag of someone going to a doctor. Oh, thank God, our boy will live now. And the doctor's like, thanking God? Motherfucker, thank me. But of course, Spook ain't like that. He means, but he ain't like that. Yeah. Also, I alluded to this to Blue yesterday, but it's really wild in therapy when they're like, when you're like, most people are like, well, I mean, I'm probably like, blowing it out of proportion, or there's some element of it, or something like that. And you sit down and it's like, right, so let's rate a lot of these and how you feels out of fives, and it's like, okay, and you can do a tally as you're going yourself in your head and going, that's a lot of high numbers. Uh-oh. And it's like, okay. Uh, Fair enough. This is a really good example of, hey, buddy, you sure you're okay? And it's like, actually, no. No, I'm not.
To steal another one of Spook's jokes, it's one of those ones of they hand you the doll and they go, show me where it hurts, and it's just a case of throws doll in fire.
Yes. I went to turn off the light because I thought the light was off because it's so dark in this room. I need to change that bulb. Actually, I could probably change. I think there's 2 bulbs in that. If I change them, it'll literally become like this room will just shout Gondor calls for aid.
Dimmer switches!
No.
What?
Because I can't make it a dimmer switch.
Oh. I forgot.
You forgot. It's like you speak to me in my own tongue, witch. I was there when it was written. I actually watch a Instagram account which is just things that are either like to make an electrician feel really good about something they're watching, or to just give them psychic damage, and there's no in between. Like, it can have the really satisfying things of like, and here was somebody perfectly pulling off all of this cabling work. It's really satisfying to watch, and you're just sat there going, that's nice. I like seeing that. And then you see other ones where it's just, how do you have a profession? Burn the witch! Burn the heretic! It's unironically that scene of, purge the alien! Kill the mutant! Burn the unclean!
You were a bit late there, Voz.
Yeet. Na 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 na. Don't you know I'm still standing? It was quite funny when I met up with a salamander player inside of my local, and he was like, I'm really curious about how you get the green you do, because it's not salamander green and it's not dark angel green, because yes, there are 3 different chapters that all have the green.
Great.
Yeah, there's Dark Angels, which are, hello, we are edgy. Salamanders, which are, hello, we want to hug you and also burn that alien. And then there's the Death Guard. Don't let them hug you. They're the ones that everyone said, oh, you got a fucking power boost during the pandemic, didn't you, you bastard? And just Nurgles in the corner, just fucking Fortnite dancing on everyone. I don't want to picture somebody that size Fortnite dancing that well. It's like seeing fucking Thanos Fortnite dance in the game. It's like, oh, that gave me psychic damage to see. But he was asking me, like, oh yeah, well, how are you getting that green? And I'm like, I don't. I kind of just kept putting it on till I was happy. You didn't do it as like a standard recipe that you kept and put up somewhere? That sounds like somebody who isn't neurodivergent would do that.
Yeah.
Do you see the problem, buddy? And he would, oh, like,
Neurotypical bullshit is this?
he put a recipe up and follow it? Motherfucker, I can't follow a recipe when I cook! That is a lie. I read every single recipe I have to the exact letter every time without fail. So I'm like, I can't fuck it up. It's like, you're cooking pasta for... I can't fuck it up.
Also neurospicy.
Yes. Yeah, Papa Nurgle loves you. You won't love what he does to you. Which, of the Chaos Gods, it's still the least creepy to say that about Nurgle doing that to you. Because the one benefit about Nurgle is, oh, you are now infected with 600 plagues. Except you feel the pain of absolutely none of them, and each one of them gives you a benefit. Which is why it's really, really funny to have a bunch of plague people in the same room as what are referred to as gnolls, which more or less just sap the magic from, like, let's treat it like this. They're people who are, if every single person has a bit of magic in them, that's their soul in the setting. These guys are like, being around them is like having a soul around a wet blanket around your soul, more or less perpetually. I don't get bullied eggs. Core, I'm sorry. The
Boiled
fuck do you mean?
eggs, probably. Core, why are you always fighting a losing battle with some form of autocorrect? Always. I assume it's boiled. I don't know how you hit U instead of O, because there is a key separating them.
I don't know how even bullied eggs would become pancakes. I don't know what analogy.
Yeah, goes to make boiled eggs and comes back with pancakes.
I still don't get what that is like. Is that a reference to?
I don't think it's a reference.
Addict?
I think it's just them commenting on the whole. I don't want to fuck up the recipe that you were saying earlier.
Ah.
That's all.
And even then, it doesn't line up all that well. So, the thing with them is, they basically take out magic from the area about them. Pretty much like an anti-magic zone if it was a person. Except, rather than going, oh, your magic is reduced in this area, being around one that's particularly trained more or less makes you want to just, like, in the same way like Turn Undead works on Undead of just driving people away. You know, like driving things away. Now, Core, I even corrected myself and said that I'm not good at doing that. Like, I follow recipes because I'm too nervous to not. But anyway. In that way of Turn Undead drives the soul of, like, the undead away from all things around you. Treat it like that, except it does that to people. And that people are willing to, like, shove themselves through the tiniest of spaces to escape the presence of one of these things. Or try to kill them. So when Nurgle guys are around them, it's one of those things where you would suck to be one, or like be somebody who is any way, shape, or form not resistant to their effects. But to watch what they do to Nurgle characters is very interesting, because Nurgle is the reason that they're also like happy and boisterous and joyful, because all of their plagues heal them and like give them positive effects and the like, because of the magic of Nurgle. So when these things show up and they just basically say goodbye to all the magic, they just basically took away every magical painkiller that guy had, and he feels 600 plagues all at once. Especially when he hasn't had like the feeling of pain in probably centuries.
Having a convo with about a minute delay is difficult. Yeah, it's also difficult when one person isn't speaking correctly, Core.
Yeah, Core.
Love you.
So yeah, it's a funny little thing with that one. Like, we were talking about the different greens, and there's that. Like, again, he was like, "What? How do you do that green?" I'm like, "I don't."
Good night, love. Sleep well.
Good night, Spook. Wow, doesn't say he loves me back. Whore.
Sorry? I know. I have to make sure that Yay! Shelf stacking stream, let's go. Again.
I mean, at that point, you may as well just put on, like, the tag that you're playing that, like, moving game.
Yeah.
But just, like, just IRL. Just like,
yeah.
I'm playing this game, but
that was
in
the
IRL.
joke, it's called Unpacking, so when I did I literally did the first one, which was Unpacking stream, and that's because that's what it's called.
Ah, my mistake. Never mind.
The joke has been done.
Ah, okay. So they have done a huge change with Warhammer. Previously, so I mentioned before, elves were really, really strong. They had the whole like, well, we have this ability, which means we guarantee do a super powerful attack against you, and it hurts you really, really hard. The reason it would hurt really hard against everyone is because it will cause a certain type of attack to go off, which would, let's say you have 5 guys in a unit, each one has 2 health. Bit of math real quick, won't take too long. This guy's gun does 6 wounds, but they're devastating. So they go, and these attacks will spill, is what they're called. So it's as if someone just aims an RPG, rather than being like a high-powered single-shot rifle, it's an RPG and it hits basically the whole group, more or less. So it does, it'll kill one guy, then go to the next guy, then go to the next guy. They've changed it now to being that high-powered rifle style, where it's, okay, you can't save against this attack. It is the nastiest attack that can happen. Bang, this guy is dead. That's it. That one guy is dead. So, where these armies were doing incredibly well because they had basically anti-everything guns, they now just have anti-tank guns again, which is what they're meant to have. So, it's a little more balanced, and people are very excited to play it again. They've also, and I mentioned them, the Nurgle guys, they've buffed them as well. So now they can induce a particular plague to begin their battles with that gives them a huge buff. And it's really nice to see that there's a bunch of people who are really excited to play more than just Space Elves now, which is great.
Yeah, diversity's always fun. I'm already now at the pace of like, this thing isn't even vaguely head-shaped, and I'm like, oh, turning this into an owl, like, making a face is hard enough, but now I'm just like, how do I do the beak? Because I was like gonna grab this and grab it inwards, but I'm like, well, it's a beak, so it needs to go inwards but also outwards, because I got to make like the interior of the mouth, so I got to go out then in. But it's like, I'm not making, I can't just grab this edge and just make it go out, because I'm making an owl, not a fucking duck. Owl beaks don't go straight forward; they kind of go like, kind of like down like that.
They're curved as well, bear that in mind.
Yeah, well, curves come later. Did you see it? Did you see all of this? Curves come later. Like, we gotta try to get as much of the base shapes in before we are subdividing down, because we don't want to subdivide down and then try to put in shapes, because it will feel like it's easier because you got more to work with, but it will be harder because you'll have too much to work with. Of like, oh god, it's so nitty gritty. It's so because all this ankle already has quite a lot in it, and will have to be modified, because when I subdivide it all down, it's everything gets divided by 2, so that all of this is going to get loads more in it. So it's not even that like it doubles the amount of faces you've got; it like quadruples the amount of faces you've got.
Oof.
So you've got to. So this very early stage is very like the simplicity of it makes it harder, not easier.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the arms as well are also going to be hard because of how I want to do them, because I don't just want to do an arm with a hand, but I got to do an arm that has a hand, quote unquote, but also has feathers running along it, and I'm like, oof, okay, that's going to be spicy, but part of the reason of doing this is to challenge yourself, to hopefully improve. It's one of the reasons why I did a lizard, and then I'm doing a bird instead of immediately going and doing, the obvious one of doing some form of canine, because there's 100,000 canines available for VR chat. So if I'm going to make one, it's got to be different, and it has to be good. So I want to get better at it before I try any kind of canine.
Yeah. It's like me playing with all the different kind of paints, practicing. Silly enough as it is to say, I'm practicing all these different types of green, because even though I don't remember the recipes, because one of the models that I have to paint in the future will be the lion himself, and his model is very unique, very difficult, and will be a super challenge. He will be one that I'm absolutely going to be painting piecemeal, where I'll do one arm. If it has the sword, I'll do the sword, and I'll keep it entirely separate. And I'm not gonna glue the whole body together. Like, I'll glue the arm to the chest and then just hold and keep that held until that is solid. Like, I'll be very meticulous about this one because I want to make it. It's going to be my biggest challenge yet, and I want to do it as good as I can.
Yeah, I get that. It's like when we backed that Kickstarter for all of those minis that we still haven't painted. A lot of the like big minis that we like, part of the reason that we backed it for is like a lot of the big ones are really cool. A lot of them are very much in the you're really cool, but you're going to be painted last because I want to get better at mini painting before I paint you. Like the giant rock the giant rock of like, oh my god, I want to paint this giant massive bird so bad, but I'm like, but I gotta get better because I want it to look good.
It's gonna sound stupid to say, but to learn how to do like smaller models with like painted feathers like that, Azine Charmy is actually quite good for that. Like, because they have a lot of bird designs to them, or like their bestial like humanoids all have like a bird aesthetic to them, more or less. It's, again, I know you will never do one.
No, I never will, because I don't need to buy more minis to practice mini painting because of how many minis we got from that Kickstarter.
Yeah, the other side as well of you can yeah, speaking of Kickstarter, you could start core. The other side as well is that you can like SDL, like I believe it's SDL, which is like standard, like you know, the templates you can do for your models. Like you can like find them and like you can get the printouts for them for a 3D printer.
Oh yeah, and STL is the file format for.
Pardon me, yes, an STL.
STL is the file format that a lot of places will give for 3D printers. 3D printers can take other file formats, but STL has become like the standard one that people will use. Like you'll find Kickstarters will say, oh, you can have an STL of this, or if you go to like a mini website like My Mini Factory, which is literally just a website for 3D printing minis. Even Hero Forge now has an option of, instead of getting them to 3D print it, you can get the STL of the model that you've made on Hero Forge. So yeah, STL is the file format. It's just a 3D format. I could save this as an STL.
Yeah.
I'm not 100% sure what it stands for, but it is just a file format. Which is funny, because back in uni I was always told that you'd probably be using OBJ a lot, and I do not use OBJ at all. I use FBX for games, and we use STL for 3D printing. Go figure.
It's the way of it. You can never predict. And of course, anything that like, you know, goes, hey, we're gonna patent this so that you have to pay us. It's like, cool. Everyone is gonna circumvent you now.
Yep.
Like, again, like Clip Studio Paint, whenever they do something good, where they're like, hey guys, here's this like just process that you can use. Cost this much. Go nuts. And everyone goes, thank you. Gonna use that.
Yeah. By the way, guys, Clip Studio Paint is on sale. It's the art program that I use. It's very good. Look, they have a one-time purchase. You can get the program for $20, and that's it. There's no like sub. There's a subscription thing if you want for like the super version, but you don't need that because that's what I use. I just use the standard one-time payment version, and it's good.
Yeah. Because they know full well you'll come back for more if you want it. It's something which, like, credit to the Final Fantasy and the Baldur's Gate 3 of like, you'll like this, you'll come back for it. We know you will. Like, if I fully say this, like, if they decide, because Baldur's Gate is like, you know, divided up into like maps and the like of like, oh well, here's area 1 and here's area 2 and so on and so on. They can very easily do a DLC. Very easily do like a legitimate DLC, like in the vein of the older days of like Fallout and the like of like, yeah, here's an entire zone that you just go to that is self-contained. Best of luck. Have fun.
Speaking of DLC, Pokemon should be launching tonight.
Christ. Well, I'm not buying that. Also, I got invited to a work to do, which makes me happy.
Ooh.
that will be happening after my trial period expires. And I'm looking at going, why would you offer this? Why would you offer this?
Because they're certain. I don't know. They know something you don't know.
I'm just sat there going, hey Chris, that's after my trial. Hey buddy, but sir.
I said what I said.
Then say it in a written document, motherfucker. Say it in a legal binding thing, you bitch. Give me stability, you motherfucker. Because we all know the only thing giving me right now is a frog. It's a wonderful frog, but they're the only thing giving it to me.
Oh.
Trial period, core.
Made a decision yet? Is that for them or for me? Speaking of Pokemon, I got a shiny Anorith today. Oh, congrats! I told you guys I found a shiny. I posted it on Twitter.
Yeah, cool.
Streaming every day, you forget which things you've said and which things you haven't said.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I got a shiny unknown from a raid. That was one that I got though.
Hey, cool.
Got shiny
Was that
unknown.
was that the one from yesterday?
It was yesterday, but I think it was when I went for a walk after.
Okay. It's actually kind of fun. I've got one
about
of these
the
guys.
DLC thing. Decision has been made, Core. Don't worry about it. It's fine.
So I had a bit of a fun thing with this because the helmet is off on this guy, but it's on his side. So like he's wearing it, but on his hip. Because they're credit to 40K. They give like a scientifically hyper advanced answer, but it's also one that's like really easy to like just pretend you understand how it works. Is like, oh, why is that my thing just like magically just sitting on his thing? Mag locks. It just magnetically locks to the thing you put it onto when you put it in this mode. Which is also why the helmets stay on when they get like jettisoned into space. I also recently started to feel less like weird about how 40K does the whole, well, this armor is super mega ultra good and it can block every bullet. And it's like, nah, my armor is super mega ultra good and it can block every bullet. Is like, don't treat it like armor for like surviving warfare. Treat it like armor that's meant to protect you from things in space. As in, oh, you're going to have to go out past the ship whilst there is a solar flare going on. Right, this armor will protect you. It's like, yeah, is this armor also really good to protect your body?
Yeah.
Yes. Is it primarily designed to stop you from melting? Yes.
I was gonna ask if you wanted me to name it something. Nah, you're good. You can keep it. It's fine.
Reaching across the desk to the bag of popcorn I have. This would be getting... If I continue this now, I'll be getting at least most of my Marines done. As in my salty, I swing a hammer boy Marines done.
Yeah.
Which will be good, because then I can get on to this elite unit of guys I have, and they'll basically be one of the last things of the guys that I have here that aren't like of the same type. Like I'll have others there, but none of them will be, say, built, primed, or anything like that, I can attack them my own way, if it makes sense. Which makes me happy. I'm glad, because I built these up so that I'd have the units to play with, and I regret it, because now I have to paint them in very specific ways.
And to open up another instance of Blender.
Julia. Is this Blender?
As I once again open up references.
Where that head went. Not giving context for the fact I just shouted that around. Does it fit on this? Nope, that's the wrong way to put that helmet. Does this fit on decently, but it kind of looks off. Okay. We'll use this on something else. Go over there, head. Ooh, it's a slow king.
This is where I was yesterday when I was like doing the feet and stuff, is that I spend like 15 minutes just looking and thinking. So visually on stream, nothing is happening, but I'm literally just sat there and gears are turning as I'm just trying to work it out.
I feel like we need the elevator theme while this is going on. Just like do 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 do. It is the final elevator song. Can she figure out how to do an owl hour? Will anyone here give a hoot hoot hoot? It is the final elevator song. Speaking of giving a hoot and being affected by things, how has you and your characters felt with the whole situation of I nuked the fucking setting in Plight of Prances?
Very much overwhelmed. Like, I think it was very much summarized by Kika, like gently hugging her legs to her chest and just saying to Runara, like, can we go a single day without drawing the ire of an interdimensional being? I've talked about this with Curls of like when we were discussing our character of like, if Kika had been given like, you know, another sort of 10 years to actually have a childhood and grow up properly, she would be very much the prime example of a hero adventurer. Of she wants to do good, she's got these magical powers, she's genuinely a nice person and wants to help people. But all of that is irrelevant because all of this is happening now and she's a literal baby. So all of this is just too much all of the time.
Yeah. It is, in fact, a little bit of everything, all of the time.
Yes. Like, I've said before that nothing surprises her, but just because nothing surprises her, that doesn't mean things don't get overwhelming.
Just because nothing surprises her doesn't mean nothing traumatizes her.
Yeah.
It's like, I rest assured something's doing that.
Yeah, and it's like,
Does it
again,
mean
she's young.
Jesus?
She's young, but she is also not stupid. So she is also aware again of like this is why she has Runara, despite before of like, can you message my parents? Can you scry my parents? Because she kind of knows of like my parents were probably right in the middle and maybe probably caused that, whatever that was.
Yeah, that was something that, like, as a DM, I was looking at and going, I mean, you guys can do this. You can pull in every trump card you want because, yeah, you guys have earned them as characters. Like, you have the right to go, right, every jet's getting called in, fuckers, we're killing this bastard. And it's like, okay, you can do it. Whatever happens to the setting, happens to the setting.
Yeah. That is the nature of the game that we play. But yeah, I even said to Curls of just like, they just snapped at the end of the day. In the past they sort of but they didn't contest Clouth because they knew that he was a big threat and everything, and in some cases they went along with what he did because he was such an overwhelming power. But because they are all heroes at the end of the day, eventually they all snapped and they were like, literally just like, he can't keep getting away with it. And I'm like, cool, well, he's not going to keep getting away with it.
And I'm like, hell yeah, go for it, guys. Do it. Change my setting. Take out one of the biggest players in my setting. I want you to. I'm literally there as the Joker going, I want you to do it. 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 Because I want to see what happens to the setting with that occurring. And this is where we are now, because as much as it hasn't been like set in character to the younglings, shall we say, it has been very like, you can look at that and go, yeah, that was caused by the fact that it's the epicenter is by where they were fighting. This is literally caused by this fight. Would any of the heroes have willingly done that? Absolutely not. Of course not. Maybe Krauser. No, not Krauser. Okay, wouldn't have done that. But they did it, and their good intentions have caused this thing to occur. Whatever happens, happens. And now, as is always, or often unfortunately the case, the next generation have to clean up the mess of the previous. Brennan Lee Mulligan's campaigns are always about capitalism. Mine are always the sins of the father.
Wow.
Speaking of, my family are doing okay.
Let's not go into that.
That's the closest I'm going to make to a joke and move on. I'm not sure if it's the same by you, but it's definitely gotten colder here.
Oh, yes, it's 100% gotten colder. The rain finally broke and I can breathe again.
Yeah. If not for the history with pneumonia, I would be outside in the fucking rain. I'm just going, yes, yes, yes. I'm not gonna lie. There's a part of my head which is kind of just thinking to myself of someone going, Vlekith, you blew up Cloth's lair. You blew up the Clothian Vale. And she's like, no. I straight up didn't. I straight up didn't. Like, I will take credit for everything that I've done, but I didn't do that. That one's not on me, Chief. Literally, you took everything from me, Frieza. Nuh-uh. The fuck do you mean, nuh-uh?
Incremental save, and then we're going to see what a subdivide does for us.
The moment the temperature has gone up, just a sec. What? Here we go. What? Oh, it's gonna be one. There we go. Nice little shit. What? Caught her nuking claw, huh? Wasn't her. Sorry, I just of course made me think of that. I found out something that's incredibly silly.
Oh.
Several elements of it are incredibly silly. You might remember I referred to like a gun that I have called a Melta.
Mm-hmm.
It is essentially like I presumed it was basically like, oh, it's just super heated, like more or less sludge getting launched in a direction. Like it's like a big thump kind of gun.
Mm-hmm.
Well, here's the thing. It isn't. It is a small thermonuclear reaction going off in the gun.
Oh, is that all?
No.
Oh, good.
The thing that I find most nonsensical about it is that apparently it is immensely quiet, and I'm like, what part of that anti-tank gun should be quiet? Like, should that be the quiet part? Or what about the guys who like weigh like 400 pounds, carrying like 400 pounds of gear with a 100-pound gun? Like, what part of this is meant to be quiet? Where's this go? Ah, yes.
Stealth. Stealth.
There are stealth marines, but they only get away with it because their Primarch literally has the buff of, if I don't want you to see me, you can't see me. He's like, their dad literally goes, nah, peekaboo, you can't see me. And that works for him. That's the only reason you guys can be stealthy. You are literally giants. Like, the smallest of you looks like Master Chief when you're out of his armor. God, I remember that. I don't remember. I think it was probably on the Shibuzi one because it's the only place it would make sense. because I think we were talking about, because Simon was there, and Simon is a bit more into Warhammer, especially when a few years ago. Someone came into the channel and was legitimately
What has happened? What the fuck?
Hmm?
Carry on, I'm talking to my work.
Another Frankenstein moment. And literally was talking about something about like Space Marines, like what was it? Spartans from Master Chief and from Halo are better than Space Marines. And even Spook went, "No, you're wrong." Because I'm pretty sure at this point Spook had played Space Marine the game, and it's like, no, you don't get it. Things in like Halo's universe go wrong when like only a handful of Spartans can be involved in the affair. You drop a squad of Space Marines down there, the only issue they're going to have is they might run out of bullets. That's it. That is their issue, is they may run out of bullets. And they were like, "Oh well, Master Chief survived a thing from orbit. Like he survived a fall from orbit," and everyone goes, "Yeah, because his suit locked. His suit literally went into defense mode." Space Marines do that while they're shooting still. Like they just like do it on the cash. You've probably seen with Space Marines, like there's a drop pod kind of thing where like they all jump out of a drop pod, like lands down, it kicks open. It's literally just a pod that falls down. The thing about that is there's no like technology protecting them. It's just a can that they're just being launched in the can down to the ground, and they just get out of and fight like they're fine. It's primarily just to protect them on the way down from being shot at, not from like gravity or anything. Like Master Chief would actually do okay as like a scout marine. That's about it. This is my friendly reminder, folks. Do not try to put X character from 40k deal with X character from other sci-fi setting. Just the 40k guy wins. The 40k guy just wins.
Yeah.
Their whole setting
it is literally the kid in the playground of they have everything proof armor. It's like, no, you're not gonna win, so just don't even engage.
The only difference is that there are some things that could, like, fun fact, there's very few things in the setting that can like stop Darth Vader, for example, who just decides, "I'm gonna crush you in your own armor," and it's like, "Uh-oh, I'm a giant tin can now." Gone. Except the things that can handle Darth Vader can very, very much so handle Darth Vader. But anything else, he's fine. I saw this fun one where it was, what would X character do in the 40k setting? Like Kratos. Kratos shows up in the 40k setting, he wants to kill gods, and he is always angry. Corrin goes, "I fucking love this guy," yoinks him, chucks him into his own realm, lets him fight for eternity. He goes, "Fantastic, time of my life." And then the Doom guy shows up, and everyone just hides in the war. It's just like, no, we're not letting him in. We're not letting him in our house. Which is why the Doom guy showing up in 40k is only funny when he shows up and the Inquisition finds him. It's like, "Oh, you're a heretic, kill him." They shoot him in the face. He looks angrier at them. Because he's one guy that could show up and be like, oh no, you just are built different. You are literally built different. You are him. You are the bad motherfucker. Because I imagine like the Inquisition, like, "Oh my god, he's a heretic, kill him." The Grey Knights, who are like the anti-demon Space Marines, would go, no, we want him. Give him to us. Give him to us, and we're going to just treat him like a nuke. We are going to kid him out as best as we can and drop him in the warp and see what the fuck he does. Because he'd be fun. Because while he is like, I am silent, big, angry man, Doom Guy is actually like uncorruptible. So all of Chaos are like, the fuck do we do against him? I don't know. Hope we can leave him alone? That'd be fun. Speaking of hell, why don't you go over to Blue's Commissions on Skywolf Creations, and you can get some hellish prices over there. Everything you can imagine in the dark temptation of getting her to draw your
just kill it. No, no. uh,
Wah, wah, wah. Speaking of nasty deals, I saw Death Battle did their most recent one, and it was Bill Cipher from Gravity Falls
huh.
versus Discord from My Little Pony.
Oh, that's fun.
It is. They eventually say that Bill Cipher wins the encounter, primarily because Discord has been shown to, if X occurs to him, he will just be gone. And they are things that do exist, whereas Bill Cipher has been beaten. And apparently may or may not be trying to reincarnate himself somewhere
Yes.
after everything that happened with the Gravity Falls nonsense. So the fight is actually quite good, because it shows up with Bill just causing a muck in quite like the My Little Pony land, and just like, causing a mayhem and the like. Discord shows up and says, nah, I'm gonna just throw like sweets at you for like the first minute of this thing. And they actually do it quite clever, where they go between different art styles. The last time they did this was actually Saitama versus One Punch Man versus Popeye.
Mm-hmm.
Because anytime Popeye with his spinach punches someone, basically he wins. So they fit, and they were also Toon Force, so it's fine. So they kept throwing each other through things, like not like, oh, he was punching him so hard. Like, they didn't do any of those scales. They're like, these guys are reality benders. They can punch as hard as they need to. They can go as fast as they want to. So like, we're not measuring these. We're not measuring these. Which honestly, I'm like, good. Because you tried to do this with Thanos and Darkseid, and it's like, it's fun to watch them punch each other, but that's not why we're here. We're here for their OP things. How do their OP things stack up? So essentially, Discord goes, aha, you forget one thing when you're trying to fuck with me. He doesn't swear. But when you're trying to mess with me, Bill, is I've watched your show. I know how you get beaten. And he does put him in like a I'm burning you out with the mentality thing.
Mm-hmm.
He does that. But in the setting, it's this thing of, oh no, he's trapped in a head. Like, he decided to fully invade. Whereas Discord went into his own head and tried to burn it out.
Q would win because Q. I mean, that's Discord, so yeah.
Literally, yes. And both characters did try to break out into the narrator's world, like, where they're like, the guys who talk about them and everything else.
Yes.
Bill Cipher makes a deal with the science guy, but gets slapped out of him by the meathead who likes the guns. And then Discord shows up for his one and goes, oh, I guess you have to make me fight the Dorito. Fine. Which, by the way, he does turn him into a Dorito and eat him during the fight.
Good. That is very on brand for Discord.
But essentially, Discord goes, and Discord's going to lose at this point because like his soul is there, and Bill goes for his soul in a way that is kind of typical of Bill when he fights superpowered entities. Of like, oh no, I'm not going to fuck with you. I'm just going to kill you. Fuck that. Which, you know what?
Yeah, because that is literally what happens towards the end of Gravity Falls after he's done messing with people. He's like, cool, I'm just gonna kill some of you. And it's like, whoa!
You just blew up Time Baby. What the fuck?
Yeah, literally throws the stands into a cage while Maple and Dipper are fleeing. And he's like, you two wait there. Turns himself into a massive pyramid monster. I've got some kids to kill. And I'm like, what the fuck? This aired on Disney?
Yep. Remember, this was the stuff he could get away with putting on it. He fought so fucking hard to get so much stuff on that.
So much. Bless him.
He walked so that Owl House could limp.
He played Hootie.
Yes. Which he regrets. Because he did that voice.
He did it as a joke, and then they were like, yes, keep that. And he was like, wait.
Wait, hold on. I have to do this voice for how many seasons? Oh, no!
Oh, my throat.
And he, of course, the voice was originally based on a meme about it being Mickey Mouse. And they're all like, fantastic, keep it. And I'm like, no, please, no. But the fight ends with Bill grabbing him, grabbing Discord's soul and going, all right, oh, that's it, I'm going to kill you now. And Discord goes, okay, well, I underestimated you. That's my mistake. Quick question. How did you not recognize this place? So, Discord is killed, but he has brought Bill Cipher back to his home dimension that he was trapped in. So he does lose, but he traps him.
Very Discord.
And then it's a thing where Bill is there now, and he does the whole like pyramids, like multiple sections spinning, roaring thing, and then he just like leans into the camera and goes, so how about a deal?
Brilliant.
Who's it next week? I can't remember. Fuck. No, they're probably not that important if I can't remember them. Fuck, that's gonna do my head. Hold on. I'm actually annoyed if I can't remember it. Oh, and one thing Discord did during that fight as well is that Bill did rip apart Equestria. He does fix Equestria because there's like a mirror to Equestria in this realm that he's pulled him into, and Fluttershy's going around going, Discord, where are you?
Aww.
And he's like, sorry, sweetheart. Closes it, and he's like, no! Because of course he is. Also, the fact that his name is, again, I still can't get over the character's name is Cypher.
Yes.
Like, so on the nose in the best way.
Yes. That's everything. It's called Bill Cipher. As in dollar bill.
Yes.
As in pyramid with an I dollar bill. The silence.
No, I was watching the thing. Infamous versus Prototype. Cole McGrath versus Alex Mercer. Basically, one guy has superpowers, and the other guy is a Venom symbiote kind of guy. Like, okay, I don't care about that fight. I was annoyed when they did the Guts fight, because they put him up against a guy from, I think it's from Fire Emblem, I think it is.
Mm-hmm.
And they were like, oh, here's Guts, the most notorious sword guy in all of anime, to the point where Trunks has had a sword for the last 20 years and still doesn't match up. Like, he is still not as recognizable as Guts with a sword. What character do they use for Fire Emblem? Oh, they're primary melee guys. Like, oh, fair, yeah, like 2 brawlers. The guy whose primary technique is anti-sword.
Fun.
It's like, oh, Ray. So needless to say, Guts lost.
Yeah, it's like, wow, way to kill everybody's fun.
Like, you could have put him against any other sword guy and seen what would have happened there. That would have been fun, but no, we had to do this shit. I will say, though, the demons, like, this guy is apparently, like, messed with demons in the past himself. So, when the demons come for Guts' soul, he just goes, oh no, fuckers, you're next, and leaps at them, so Guts does to rest in peace. Which is nice.
Yes.
They could have just let his soul be dragged away, but they're like, no, this guy would see a valiant warrior, and his soul about to be taken by demons, and he's like, nah, I ain't gonna let you do that. I'm gonna fucking run hands, fuckers. Which, you know what, yeah, no, hold on a sec, you do get a brownie point back for character. Your shit's bullshit, but your character, you get a brownie point back. What was the last one they did before that? I think it was, oh, that was it. They put Raven from Teen Titans against Jean Grey, the Phoenix. So, an X-Men character versus a Teen Titans character. And Raven wins, but it's close. Like, they legitimately say, both of these people are universal threats and are seriously heavy hitters. But one of them struggles with getting a soul out of her body, which is the Phoenix in Jean Grey, which, Jean can't really get rid of her because the Phoenix is like, I ain't fucking leaving. I'll give you a super mega boost, but I ain't fucking leaving my house. Whereas Raven's whole shtick is, I keep a demon out of me like every day of the week. I can't let my emotions fall once. So it's like, one of these two has a little bit more mental control on a situation. So I think I know who's going to probably come out and come.
Do you know D from Vampire Hunter D? I'm afraid not. Is that an animu? Because I'm
Yes.
not a big animu watcher.
Yes, I believe D is from... I believe that is a particular one. I think that's the one where if you've ever seen like... you might think of it like in a distance or like on like a ridge top, you've seen a picture of an anime character with a ridiculously wide brimmed hat.
Basically
I think that...
Alucard. Right. I do know who Alucard is.
Yes, because...
Because
Thank
of what?
you,
Castlevania.
Castlevania.
Because Castlevania. Yeah.
Actually, that's a thought. I would actually love to see Dracula from Castlevania fight Alucard. As in Alucard from Hellsing. Because again,
I'm surprised they don't do Alucard versus Alucard.
Well,
Just
the reason I say
because it's Alucard.
Well, the reason is that they're both Dracula, though. Is that Alucard from Hellsing is Dracula. Like, legitimately is the character. The Hellsing organization just decided, hey, let's just, like, reverse his name, because that will annoy him. That will annoy him if we do that. And the reason I say that is that here is Castlevania's greatest hero trio. They barely kill, and by barely I mean he has to accept death himself. Dracula, like, they barely do it.
Mm-hmm.
And this is after he has fasted for a year plus. If not, like, maybe a year and a half at this point. He has not touched anything. He is his weakest form. Every greedy vampire around him is like, hey, he's at his weakest. Maybe we could take a... Oh, no, he just flexed a little bit. Fuck, no. He is at his weakest. That does not mean he is weaker than us. Fuck, okay. That I do like that element with him, where it's like, oh, you're at your weakest form? Okay, maybe I can take you. Never mind. That's why I'd want to see it. But of course, the issue there is we don't have any scaling to what Dracula in his strongest form is like, so it's kind of hard. Like the games, probably use the games for it, but like even then, everyone's just going to think of the anime.
Yes.
Which apparently there's been another trailer for the new season, which I'm kind of excited for. There was one dialogue of it of the guy in blue. He's the next generation of a Belmont. Not like there's not an immediate generation from him and Trevor or anything like that, but it's a thing of, oh, I'm the last of the Belmont, and everyone just makes the joke that somewhere in the afterlife, Trevor's just there going, God fucking damn it, not again!
How does this happen twice?
Fuck's sake, I thought I fixed that! I literally fought death, you fuckers! None of you have an excuse! I literally set you guys up for success, you sons of bitches! But I'm very excited for it. I think it's going to be one of those animes where... I call it an anime because, well, it's animated in that way. I feel like it's one of those ones where it's like, this is just going to be good to watch if you are a vampire enjoyer, because in the previous ones, anyone that came up against the trio was like, oh yeah, no, they're going to lose. Because this is the original trio. This is the most powerful spellcaster in the setting. Aside from fucking Dracula. This is Dracula's literal son. And here is the last of the vampire hunters who has every ounce of the knowledge they have left. He's just a drunk right now. He's waking back up. But fuck, I will say that. When they get Belmont back to his full, like, oh no, I'm back and fighting for... Fuck, he's a scary bastard. Yeah. I love him for that.
Yeah,
like,
I mean, I remember both me and the Spook when we were watching it, and it was like he sobered up and gone down into the archives, and he found the
monster, yeah.
No, the chain whip rather than the
the Morning Star.
The Morning Star one. And he started fighting with that, and as soon as he even touches them with it, they explode. Both me and Spook were sat there going, yo, let's go!
Let's fucking go!
Let's go!
And then it's like, hey, look, this weapon one-shots everything it touches. Let's do a massive setup. Oh, yes, we hit Dracula with it. Okay, he's slightly annoyed. Fuck.
Just looks over, that hurt. It's like, it was supposed to do more than hurt.
I do like what Dracula said at the time of, yes, the Morning Star. I remember it. That would kill any mere vampire. I am no mere vampire. I am Vlad Dracula Tepish, and I have had enough of this. And I'm just there going, yes, King. Daddy, sorry. Daddy, sorry. Daddy.
Lecter.
I have shit. I have shit my water. I'm finishing my popcorn. I was tasting. I got like 6 packs of it from home, and when I have money again, next paycheck, please. I'm going to look at it and go, okay, let's look at these patty packages you can get, which are everything you can buy from home, like, you know, a selection of things you want from home that you can't buy in the UK. That is literally the whole premise of it. Apparently it does quite well.
Wild. I mean,
Well,
it probably does well because the markup is probably quite... Ugh.
Regardless, it's one of those things where they're like, yeah, we know people are going to pay for this. Which, I mean, yes. Yes, we are. Okay. What? Giggling about?
No, nothing.
Go on.
No, I can't comment. I literally can't comment.
Hold on to it. Tell me later when we're off stream. Do I try to work on the Primaris Castle with his giant fucking cloak?
I mean, you can, but... I can, but it shouldn't. It's called having restraint and trying to be nice. You should try it sometime, Core.
That would imply he's... No, not gonna do that either. Hashtag, we're all trying to be better in here.
Inside thoughts. Inside thoughts. You can think it, but don't say it.
The difference is, Core, we can delete your message. I'm sorry, I'm just looking at this going, actually, I could get a tiny piece of metal. And if I did, and I stuck it in this guy's cloak, it would stop the cloak from weighing down. And that would hold the cloak up in a pose that I want, which is cool. So I need a tiny piece of metal. If only I worked at a place where I could get a tiny piece of metal. I do, by the way. If the chat was chatting. I did also have, yeah, I'm probably gonna leave it there for the night. Yeah, with the models. I did also talk with Mally about the idea of, because again, he got into 40k, so the first thing that happens is, of course, Loth gets dragged into 40k because you gotta have your blower, you gotta see what your blower is like. So of course, I was like, I might make my own characters in it, and they're like, but what would Thane be like in 40k? And I'm like, he'd actually be a salamander. he'd be the, hello, we're big. We're like the biggest guys of the good guys, and we're notorious for using hammers. And we're the most protective of people who are, like, you know, in danger of being hurt. And we're gonna beat the fuck out of you now with these hammers because you're being mean to that person. And I'm like, ah, fuck, you would be. So I have a whole thing that I threw to Mally. It's like, right, you wanted it, and I know you wanted me to write it, so here you go. And I just wrote up a tiny thing of, this is where they start from two separate factions. Mally's is the one that is TLDR, Space Marine Vampires,
Ah, of course.
and are notorious for, I'm going to get this jump pack on me, fly towards you at top speeds, and smack you in the face with a giant sword. This is great, until something survives that initial smack.
Ah, that kind of like, this better fucking kill you because I don't have a follow-up.
Except when...
Playing a rogue in 5th edition.
kind of, except when it's our two characters, it's like, yeah, you have a follow-up. It's me. I'm the follow-up. It's quite literally hammer and anvil, because there's very few things that will make Space Marines work together from chapters from very early ages, but there's one thing called the Death Watch. They're okay, we need people to help us hunt aliens. Chapters, we're calling it in. Send people who want, and it's like a legitimate honor to be selected to go. Because it's like, oh, we need really competent people to go. So it's like, okay, well, here's my character. Here's Thane as like a salamander lieutenant kind of thing with like a storm shield and like a thunder hammer and kind of stuff. Like an underhung like flamer that he can use as well, because they're primarily used for like boarding ships and the like, and like small personnel grade stuff, but like, you know, you're kitted out to the nines still because you have all your unique weapons. They get along well. Thane has to leave because his chapter master has been interred in a dreadnought, and a new chapter master must be elected, so anyone who's viable must return, which the Death Watch do respect in the lore. Like, oh, you need to go back to your chapter for something urgent? Fully understand. Off you go. Stuff happens, and Loth also then has to return because the Tyranids have attacked the primary home planet of the Blood Angels, which is his chapter. And this is something which happens in the setting, and it's the first time a full tendril of Tyranids are aimed at one place, because they have the remains of the Primarch Sanguinius there. The Tyranids, if they take your biomass, can use it to design something absolutely horrific from it. I.e., when they first started fighting Space Marines, bigger and tougher Tyranid warriors started appearing amongst their ranks.
Right, I get you.
So it's one of those things of, don't let them get the most powerful martial fucking Space Marine Primarch's body, please. Don't let them do that. Because this is the guy who decided, okay, I have to defend the literal temple, like the temple fortress of the Imperium of Terra, of Earth. Okay, let me take on this mountain-sized walker. Then I'm going to go and fight my demonically infused brother and beat him to death. Then I'm going to go and fight my other brother, who is the most powerful of all of us right now, and still manage to wound him. After fighting here for 7 days straight, after getting here for 4 weeks. Which, yes, it was described as even he is barely standing by that point. He then gets killed by his brother. His body is interred by the Blood Angels, and they're like, okay, we literally can't let him die. We literally can't let him be taken, because his body's preserved. We're not going to destroy him, because they love him as a father. They're not going to destroy their father's body. So they're like, okay, call everyone back. Call everyone back. So, Loth gets issued with, well, what Loth is good at this point, having been with the Death Watch for so long, and has to hold off a from a command, like from a defensive satellite, more or less. That's just guns, and more guns. So his unit is holding out in that location as best as they can, but it's not exactly easy for them to do. Until they're more or less overwhelmed, and it's just Loth left, and then they just hear the Salamander's chant get shouted out, and there is Thane's group, with Thane as the new chapter master of his unit, in there stomping the ever-loving shit out of every single Tyranid he can get to, until he's there with his buddy, and they fight back to back on their way out, doing their classic, I'm Death Watch bullshit together, which is we just fuck up everything under the sun that's slightly alien and Xenosy, and guess what? Tyranids are Xenos. Let's fuck them up, let's. So it's one of those fun ones, but I've had thoughts of things to do with him, which are kind of cool. I kind of enjoy them. Of course, they're all like, well, my OC can do this, and it's like, yeah, everyone can make their OC as powerful as they want. Everyone in this setting can get decked. So you can say you're like, oh, he can learn all these cool weapon styles, and he can be this very durable thing. It's like, yep, someone from a certain distance can still take him out with a powerful gun. Doesn't change that.
Mm-hmm.
I had a fun thought of essentially being a psyker is something that's like, oh, if you're trained in it, you know what you're doing, you're somewhat powerful, it's kind of obvious. I want Thane to be a psyker in this setting, but he doesn't really, like, either has not been trained in it, or one of those things of he keeps it relatively quiet, where people just go, oh no, Thane's hammer is just a flaming power, a thunder maul, that's all it is, it's just a thunder hammer that's flaming. It's very cool. And then people eventually just go, oh yeah, no, we will fix up his hammer for him, because we will. And they all just pause and freeze and go, there is no mechanics in this thing to allow it to ignite fire. How the fuck does he set it on fire? And it's like, stop asking questions. Stop asking questions. I'm not gonna. I maybe he got it unlocked from deep within himself during his time of the Death Watch. But the more you keep asking questions, the more answers he's not gonna like having to give. So shut the fuck up, because people are gonna look at him if you do that. And stop it. Don't be suspicious. Don't be suspicious.
Don't be suspicious. Don't be suspicious.
There's an incredibly crass thing I saw, but it's crass in a funny way. Of it's a Warhammer thing. Essentially, there's a elven guy who's a really competent warrior. Like, you know, he's known as like being really good. Like he's basically the faction's like, oh yeah, this is the faction's best warrior guy. And it's been heavily, it's not implied anymore in the setting. It's just like, oh yeah, no, he is legitimately in a relationship with the queen of the elves, who is also married. But the thing that's funny about it is that there's a little gag I saw on a line of because he has this thing of he'll nearly die, but his armor has a chance of reviving him, and if it doesn't, it'll nearly kill him every time. Unless she's around, and she's a really competent healer, so hey, Deus Ex Machina from that. But this particular one was he's nearly dying in the ground, and she knows she's in serious trouble, so they just look at it and go, I will literally, like, do whatever you want if you will just get the fuck back up. And he just does the straight up, just heals from, like, being on his back, heals straight back up to, like, standing straight position of just like, I am back, I return, I rise. It's like, understood. I've also seen her. Fair. Is it crass? Yes. Do I find it hilarious? Also.
Concentration times.
Yes.
So I'm like trying to get the disc shape in that owls have in their faces.
That's a bit of a challenge, in fairness, yeah. Also, something that makes me pause and giggle every time, because I'm aware when I chose the name that that's what he was, but every time I hear in one of these games where they're like, "Oh yes, this is a Thane," I go, or it's or in the Skyrim case of, "I am your sword and shield, my Thane," and I'm like, Lydia, we're not that close. Like, I appreciate it, but we're not that close.
Owl person? Yes, Voz, I'm making an owl person.
Behold, them have beak.
This is the general gist. It looks garbage at the moment because I've barely worked on it for what? This is going to be five hours now. No, I didn't do 3 hours yesterday. I did like an hour and a half yesterday, so they're like 4 hours. Oh, thanks, boss. I think you're just being kind.
No,
It
no,
will,
boss.
it will, it will, you know, I mean, the cobble went through a phase when it was kind of like lumpy and nubby.
Trust the process.
I do trust the process, I just know that it will look better. At the moment, it is less, but it will be better. It needs,
that's
it needs to cook. It's literally a ball of dough. It needs to cook.
Let her cook. Let her cook. That was one of the wildest videos I watched in a long time. Was a Warhammer video, which the entire premise was just: here are 5 guys. You do not let them cook. It sounds weird to say, but that whole premise is the whole concept of, right, okay, let them cook is let them have their moment, let them come, let them show you what they can do. Literally like a, let this guy come into the kitchen and let him cook, let him show you what he can do, kind of concept. And it was just 5 times that there's been 5 characters who went, yeah, no, I'ma just throw my whole back into this and show you how good I am, kind of situation. It was always very entertaining to watch because a few of them were legitimately just like, here's a guy who is destroying the entire setting. Now watch this one guy who just woke up, fix 90% of what this guy did over 10,000 years. This is why you do not let this man cook, because he will ruin something you've worked 10k years on. Do not let him cook, for example.
Everything starts out garbage and it turns into greatness. People you shouldn't let cook every salamander.
No, you should definitely let the salamanders cook, especially when we're fighting greenskins or the Eldar, because fuck both races. Greenskins, it's one of the only surefire ways to kill them, because they die, they let off spores. So, what's one way to make sure that the spores don't come back? You burn the bastards. Whereas when it comes to Eldar, well, fuck Eldar. Let them burn. This is going to be the... Oh, Jesus Christ, I can't believe those words really left my mouth. This is the only setting where Thane is not an elf fucker.
God damn it.
I'm playing as dwarves who get to go to the Elflands and just fuck up a bunch of evil elves. And their lord was very low on health and charged my leader, who just turned around, lifted his giant axe up, dropped the giant axe down, and the guy's chariot exploded. Not hyperbole. His chariot is now a was.
Exploded.
His chariot is a was. There is no hyperbole here. That man is dead. Other people you don't let cook. Brindle. Because he will just fucking deck you. It was actually something I did see in a video a while back, which was like, this might sound weird. These are the nice guys. How do they have like small thermonuclear reactions in most of their guns? Or actual white phosphorus and napalm? Well, because simple. If you had somebody who you would trust with it, would you trust the good guys with the war crime gun? I would trust the good guys with the war crime. It's better than giving it to the bad guys. Or the worst guys, depending on your perspective. This is literally just the fucking gag thing from the second Lord of the Rings film, where everyone was like, okay, what's all of our stage direction for this scene? And it's like, okay, we're all going to come towards John Ray Davis, who is Gimli. Like, okay, I'm going to come at you first, and then I'm going to come at you, and I'm going to come at you. And he's like, okay, I'm going to hit you with my axe. Then I'm going to hit you with my axe. Then I'm going to hit you with my axe. And these are all like big burly stunt doubles. So like, yeah, no, don't worry. We've got good padding on us, so like, we're okay if you do hit us, but try not to. He would hit every single person. He would hit every single person. That's all that's happening. It's just an old man is running around with a giant axe going, I'm gonna hit you next, fucker!
What?
Bonk. Ah, hang on a sec. Voz, how long is... Okay, no, this is a... Okay, I've
What?
seen this one. Now, Voz put up a thing in the memes channel of General Grievous with too many lightsabers, extended version. I got nervous because I've seen the standard General Grievous with too many lightsabers episode or thing, and I'm like, how many lightsabers does he have in this one? But no, it's just the same video. So there's a brief moment of, ooh, because that fucker gets a lot of lightsabers.
Yes.
That is literally the bit.
Yeah, that's his shtick.
Which again, I am really upset that that guy did not get the respect he got in the fucking series that was created by the same guy who made Samurai Jack, because he turned him into a literal horror villain. It's what he's meant to be. That is not meant to be a friend shape. That is evil robot man. He is going to shank you. And he's going to steal your favorite light stick. Essentially, my current plan in this campaign is to hit each one of these factions so hard in the head that when they next come to pick a fight with me, they're going to request a peace treaty. Like, I'm just going to smash one of them down eventually, and when I do, turn to the others and wait for one of them to make a peace treaty. Because if they don't, I'm just going to hit them with my axe. I forget what the logic of that is again. I believe it's what's called like gunboat diplomacy or something like that, where it's like, hey, are you friendly? They say while every single gun they have is aimed at you. It's like, hey bud, are you friendly? We just want to talk. But only if you're friendly. God damn it, Core. The video of Luna getting her shots.
Yes. Hell of a boss.
Yeah. Which again, great bit. It's like happy ending of Oakheart. Tala doesn't need to get her shots. Okay, if I do this fight, do I lose anything? Fuck it. I lose 2 guys. I lose 2 units if I do this fight, but it just wipes out that entire blob of things, which are going to be annoying, so... Oh shit, that guy got 4 fucking... That's neat. Sorry, I had a full conversation with myself there.
Just a bit. It's fine. It
I
happens
tend-
as well. I do
I
it
tend
as
to
well.
whenever I join your thing.
I do it as well. I mean, it's weird. Like when obviously when I'm streaming by myself, I talk. I try to remember to talk because obviously there's nothing to watch otherwise.
What are those? Oh, they're prairie dogs. I could not stand that. The video is like, this is the start of every day, and it's just 2 prairie dogs making a bunch of high-pitched noises. I'd be like, no,
Aw.
no. Ooh, I have iron drakes available. Yes, sorry. The sociopath came out there. I have
Really?
access. Yes. I have access to medieval flamethrowers. I'm starting to have no issues with elves miraculously very quickly. Hey guys, do you want to watch this entire infantry blob blow up? You want to watch it happen again? Jesus. Have you ever heard skin bubble off someone's flesh? Would you like to? It is dark, but it's funny because Warhammer. Again, this is a setting that has giant ratmen. I was watching a thing before we started playing, which was stuff from the Warhammer tabletop stuff, like the Play on Tabletop guys I watch.
Mm.
And it was the guy I really enjoy watching anything he does. He's a guy called Tycho. He's just basically a big jolly fella. Like he's just really happy to be playing the game. And like
Aw.
really enjoying playing the game with people who's around him, and he has a great time. He's just really enjoyable to like watch. He tends to play Nurgle, like the Death Guard, who are currently one of the weakest factions in the game. And he was like, okay, I'm going to play the Space Marines this time because I have a really cool custom army with some models from our sponsor today, which I'm really excited to show off to you guys. But I don't play this army often, so I'm going to try really hard. He fucking stomps the opponent. It's one of those moments of, oh, this is what happens when the nice guy stops holding back or stops having like an incredibly crippled army. Oh, Jesus. It's terrifying. It was very enjoyable to watch, but also slightly scary. Of just, oh dear God, this is you when you don't hold back. Fuck. What was I on it? So I was on turn 2. Turn 2 hadn't even finished yet on the opponent's side, and it was 22-0, which means that he's scored his primary objectives once easily, and that he scored his secondary objectives on both situations for like fully, and it's just like, oh, that's horrifying because that's not easy to do. So him doing that is, again, he's one of those guys who I'm having fun being here, and it's like he's laughing, he's killing that man, and he's laughing. He broke that man's neck, and he's just laughing at the situation. How does that not scare you? He's just like, hey, 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 look at my little space room, man. He goes, boopity boop boop boop. I just checked your Blue Sky account just to see if you posted up a link for the stream or not, and all I can see is just you going, "Hey, does anyone know if this thing has a hashtag system or not?"
Oh, that was from a few days
Hey,
ago.
yeah, I've only just seen it now because, of course, I have not been on in a bit, and I'm just like, no. Do I want a cannon? I deserve a cannon. I can get another flamethrower. I'm getting another flamethrower. And then I'm gonna get a cannon. So, Blue, what can the people expect from you tomorrow? Will it be called Little Lamb?
Probably. There's maybe like a, I don't know, like a 25% chance I might play Palia. I don't know. I mean, obviously we're going to do art stream in the afternoon, though I appreciate most people are busy in the afternoon. But probably Cult of the Lamb, I guess. It is our go-to, like, default game, and I did have fun with it last week.
Good. There is the joke to be made of, hey, why don't you put it up to a vote? Because we all
you guys
know,
can't make a fucking decision in your life.
we all know these guys are great at voting. The only thing I voted on was gays' right to vote, to have marriage. Sorry, that too. Both actually. I voted for both. Ireland's shit. Anyway. Ooh, my neck just cracked and it felt really good. You know when you have to like crack your neck and you can feel it in like several sections, just like all at once, just felt really nice. Like, yes. Good shit. No. I have a very like set limit of Oz with my body where I just go, ah, there we go. That's the ticket. There we go.
Oh boy.
Let's see. What happens in this fight? Is it a thing of a great call to arms of a foe that has rivaled him in this quest battle? No, he shouts, "Oi, you fucker, get out here. Your dragon bit my armor like 10,000 years ago and I'm pissed." Which also just fits for 40k, or like even any Warhammer, 40k or otherwise. I don't need to give any further detailing to it. That's all you need to know. What happened all these years ago? Fuck him, that's what happened. Any context? No, just fuck him. Okay. Fuck him yourself, you coward. Anyway, moving on. Let's see. I did encounter a guy on, of all things, TikTok. Apparently, I did later on find his YouTube and other elements, which are also quite nice.
Mm-hmm.
And his primary thing is he acts over eccentric when he's like talking passionately about things in a goofy way. But in the same way as like, it's as if Crumblebottom was a Warhammer fan of, "Oh my darling, you've no fucking idea about how stupid that is to say." And I'm like, Crumble?
What?
Did you start painting minis? You cranky old sadistic fuck. I can also call him that because he's mine.
Yes.
I have the legal right to, as does everyone else, but I have the most legal right to. Actually, I didn't think I posted the Loth Space Marine did post it up in the Discord I'm in. Hang on. Oh, they did. Hang on a sec. I'll actually link this across to you because this is quite cool.
I would
This
think
by
I have
got
seen it because I do follow them on the socials.
there. Yeah, it's just Loth as a Space Marine with a bunch of red armor on.
Yeah.
And Loth looks good. Not gonna lie, Loth looks good. Okay, first things first, we put all the dwarves in guard mode, then the cannon aims at the dragon. You put them in guard mode so that when the enemy decides to move away, they don't decide, I'm gonna just chase after it. It's like, no, 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 stay the fuck still and shoot it again.
He's going to tell the dwarves to stay the fuck still.
Yes. It's like, no, 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 no. Dwarf, stay still. Dwarf, stay still. Good dwarf, good dwarf. I'll now light them on fire.
Giant monster!
Big grudge to settle! What big grudge to settle? This is funny because the standard dwarf unit in this game, the easiest equivalent is like, oh yeah, standard dwarf infantry has an AC of 18 in D&D would be the equivalent. What does this ranged infantry unit have as their base AC? 22 would be the equivalent of just, yeah, no, these guys just light something on fucking fire. Oh my god. Oh, the dragon got caught out and just hey dragon, you're not fireproof. Guess what, fucker? Oh my god, he just got fucking rinsed. Oh, I love it. Oh, this is a lovely day. He just got fucking cooked. This was not let him cook, this was he got cooked. Ugh. Oh, so that's where they have the chaos spawn come from now. That's neat. Move you there, and get this firing line here, and this literal fire line over here. Those guys didn't even get into fucking melee with the dwarf infantry. They just ran. It's like, we will attack you and then charge into melee, and it's just the dunk of bouncing off armor and going, nope, we're just gonna leave. We're just gonna leave. Smart boys. Good job. You alright?
Yeah, I was just stretching.
Ah, fair.
Redeem again with us.
Ah, fair.
And I'm all out of water.
We're nearly at the end of the night.
We'll be finish, I'll probably do my usual of go make a quick decaf tea to wind down.
Also, I don't know why. So these flame units that I talk about that like have all the strong missile strength and like all this like really powerful stuff, usually to balance stuff like this, they have like terrible range and really low ammo. These guys, you know, they don't have a good range. That's fair. Why do most of them have ammunition in the literal like 100 and like nearly 200 plus ammo quantity? I'm like, how many volleys of fire do I get to use with you fuckers? I remember what army I'm leading. This guy is all about, yeah, fuck it, light all these bastards on fire. I'm done playing. It's such a common tactic of like taking a hero character that is really resistant as a single entity to missile shots, running them forward to get blobbed up by enemies, and just having your missiles blow up that one spot. That this particular dwarfin character you can get, the Thane, literally has a buff to that, which is just, oh, if you get lit up, it's fine because you have such immense resistances to fire.
Increment again. Okay, let's go back into budget mode and let's make a cube. Oops. We want the origin to stay there, so and
there we go. That was tidy. That was legitimately everything gets too close to me and just gets blown up. That's all. Like, I had an entire really elite infantry corps and they just stood there going, "We're ready. Just want to have a pint, lads." They just did nothing. So, in one of the latest updates to a really cool set of dwarves from the Age of Sigmar setting, which is what happened to fantasy when fantasy got blown up, they have a bunch of dwarf female women as some of the slayers. You know, like in like female like head options and design options, and they actually look quite cool. They look like gorgeous model designs. I might link them onto you later to see. But someone has posted up a entirely gross comment about, oh yeah, she knows her place with one of the models, right? One of the pictures. Here's the issue. The model, like, because there's multiple pictures of these, but the issue with this was the one that he referred to was the dude.
Congratulations, you played yourself.
Also, the best element of this is that they have a tiny dog. They have a tiny fire dog boy. They have a tiny fire puppy. Because these dwarves are all about our leader and our, like, god literally fought and died fighting against your god. As such, we now work together as buddies, and it's a fire magma dragon god. Usually they're like a giant... treated like, you know, like a giant dire bear kind of size kind of thing, or like, you know, a large adult dragon, but like, you know, on the ground. And this is just a little guy. It's just a little puppy. I posted him in the gaming channel for anyone who wants to see it, but these are the Vulcan Flame Seekers. And there are some femmes in there, and it's awesome. And the one he referred to in the picture, I'm pretty sure it was the one which is in the top left. And it's like, ah, yes, this one knows her place. And it's like, that's one of the most obvious guys in the entire set. Look at the size of that beard. That beard has more facial hair than you will ever grow in your entire life. Sit down, son.
Very silly.
Ugh, it's always fun to look at and go, heh, dumbass. That's the only time. That's why no names are being given, because fuck giving them publicity. Just point and laugh.
Let's see.
Alright, everybody, listen up. We've got something to do here. We've got to give all these guys a right proper killing. However, I'm going to apologize now in case I get too eager with the murder. I have an oath to fulfill. So if you see me run off like a lunatic, do not mind me. TLDR, what Grombriddle just said to this army. I've got a score to settle. I'm going to go in there like a mad bastard. You don't have to follow me. I'm going this way. Violence will occur in this direction. You do not have to be in this direction. I'm happy if you are in this direction, but you do not have to be in this direction. I don't know why I emphasized this direction so much. Oh, these guys are gonna do my head. The Chaos army that I'm fighting just went, What if we just like weren't standing like in your artillery range? It's like, oh god damn it, don't make me walk towards you, you fucker. I've got little legs. Come back here. Let me kill you. Fucking coward. Let me shoot you. This is why I hate elves. Little bastards kite me. Just let me get my hands on you. Me when I fucking get you.
All elves are the same.
Yes.
Yep.
And apparently
I can't let you touch me. I am made of tissue paper.
No, that's fine. I don't need to touch you. Let me set you on fucking fire then.
I'm still made of tissue paper. No, I'm highly flammable.
Don't worry, don't worry. You could put out with your fucking tears from your tragic backstory. Oh no, I'm gonna feel sad. He's sending evil chaos dogs at me. I'm about to burn a bunch of dogs. Sad noises like, oh buddy, these guys are about to get sent right the fuck back to the war. Oh boy, they're about to feel it now, Mr. Krabs. Poor bastards. Poor little bastards.
Surprised to still remember this movie after seeing you model an owl.
Yes, Legend of the Guardians.
I fucking love that film.
Really?
Legend. One of the things is that Legend. Two things. It was. I believe it was the first film that I ever saw in 3D back when cinemas were really emphasizing, hey, you can go see a film in 3D. And second, at the time, it was, I think, the first film that had been made for 3D rather than every film up to that point which had been filmed and then converted, whereas because this being a 3D animation, it had been made each step of the way with the 3D cinema in mind, so the 3D effects in it were extra good. But I very much did the ADHD hyperfocus on that when I saw it in the cinema, in that I went and then binge read like 12 of the books, considering that the film is like the first 3. I think they did a Lemony Snicket, and the film is the first 3 books.
Damn.
But there's like major changes, is what I learned, is that the film has major changes from the book. Like, I guess the general plot is the same, but there's like some aspects that I remember having seen the film and then reading the book and being like, wait, what? And being like slightly confused.
I think I remember the first time I had that, but the other way, where I read the book and then saw the film, and that was, His Dark Materials, The Golden Compass.
Ah, yes.
I remember watching that film as a kid, and I was the actually guy in the cinema, because that was my hyper fixation. So I was just out there going, wait,
what?
We end the film here? But there's like another 3 chapters.
Yeah, it was
What?
very. They wanted it to be another, because of the whole Harry Potter hype at the time of like everybody was trying to take these big book series and be like, let's make a movie trilogy, and then they never get the follow up. Like Aragon never gets a follow up, even though it's Aragon never gets.
That film deserved to not have a follow up. I'm gonna keep it a buck.
Yeah. But yeah, a lot of them got into the, because like I've never read His Dark Materials books, but I remember I watched the film and I remember enjoying the film and thinking it was cool.
It's a very
and
good
then
film.
a couple of years ago, the BBC have done a His Dark Materials series. And I remember being like, oh, I liked the film, so I'll watch that. And within the first 2 episodes, I was like, what the fuck is happening?
Yes,
is this the same story?
Yes, it is, and it's so much better.
Oh yeah, I could tell that immediately, because I even said to my mom, I was like, 100% every time now. This is the reason there's so many series now, is that series are always better than films, because they get more, time. A series, it has many more hours than a film, so they have time to go through all the plot and, you know, go through these minor points and stuff. So I knew before I even sat down, I was like, well, this is going to be more accurate to the book, which I've still never read. And again, within the first 2 episodes, I was like, what the fuck is happening? Jesus Christ.
I'm still annoyed we had an Artemis Fowl film when we could have just had an Artemis Fowl series and it would have been so much better. Like,
Yeah.
that's not hyperbole.
Yeah, again,
that
it was back in the day when it was basically you get a film or you don't get anything. Like the idea of making
No,
the
the Artemis Fowl one came out
series-
recently.
What? How recently?
Oh, hang on a sec.
This is where Dash is like, oh, it came out like 3 years ago. Came out 8 years ago, and we're both like,
No, it was a 2020 film. It's a 2020 film.
Jesus Christ! Wow, that must have been a horrendous flop for that to just fly under the radar.
Yeah,
Oh,
Disney
2020.
got it.
Oh, 2020. Right? Yeah. There's a reason.
No, there's also other reasons. Like, it was a terrible one. Like, it's just straight up a bad film. It's just a bad film. I legitimately love the series. I would recommend you the series because there is a Delmara pseudo in it in a very good way. Artemis Fowl, I love saying this about Artemis Fowl, is the villain of like the first 2 books. Like, he's the villain of the first book, primarily, and then he's an antagonist anti-hero, and he goes more anti-hero as he goes. And I fucking love that little bastard so much. He is, you know what? Holy, oh my fucking god, he's Alec Goldwood. He's Alec fucking Goldwood. Oh my fucking god, Artemis Fowl is Salric Goldwood if Salric Goldwood was a human. That is exactly who he is. That is actually exactly who he is. Holy shit. Oh my god. Why could I
Dash
never
isn't
picture
sleeping
that?
tonight.
No, because he's a genius who's always got great plans going and mischief and trickery, and it's like, that's definitely a war crime you just did. And he's like, so? Your point? Like, this is actually like if Batman and Bruce Wayne were 2 separate people, in that way of Bruce Wayne is the little kid who's being a little shit, but has all the genius. All the genius. And then you've got the butler who is, hello, I am 8 foot tall of jacked fucker, and I can literally, oh, here is a monster from this setting, which can kill swaths of magical people. I'm putting on a suit of armor, and I'm running at him, and in no part of this narrative is it a joke that I could take this thing. It's like legitimately the entire time he could take that fucking thing, and then he does. Because he's built different.
Built different.
But funnily enough, his name is Butler. It's Domovia. Here's the thing. I had to look it up because the first name was because I knew his name was Butler. I was like, is that his name or was that his title that he's just given in the series? No, he's actually called Butler, and his name is it's Domovoi. So Domovoi. Hang on, I'm gonna post this in chat because yes, I'm butchering it, but
I mean, it's one of those ones where if it's French when you're, you know, reading it and you're like 10 years old, it's like you're not going to know how to pronounce this unless someone tells it to you, and when you're reading a book, you don't know. It's like the freaking joke of Soviet Von Wall who was reading Harry Potter as a kid and was like, ah, yes, Hermione.
Mm-hmm.
It only looks French, so it could be like Demovoir.
Here's the thing: he is Eurasian, is how he's always described. So I always pictured him as being like. Because Eurasian, my mind went to Poland. I was like, he's Polish, Asian? Fair enough. And went on with my theory, because that's how he was in my head. They had a black man playing, which is more than fine. Like, of course, change out the characters, things you should go. That's all cool. And of course, there's no reason why a European Asian can't be a black man.
Yeah.
Go nuts. And they're just going, he just has to look like he could grab you, and just his entire hand covers your face. Like, that's all he needs to be like, yeah, okay, that's Butler. That's all you need to convince me that you have a guy who's playing as Butler. Is he just a fucking giant? Yes? Okay, he's Butler. Fine. Oh, fuck. Oh, no, I'm going down a rabbit hole now. Hold on a sec. Oh, right, and he's Artemis Fowl the Second. Because there was Artemis Fowl, who is his, Oh, that's why. Because again, the Artemis Fowl series is a book series, and just one sec there. Let me just pull it up. Just make sure I get the author's name correct. Owen Colfer. To no one's surprise, with a name like that, he is in fact an Irish author. And Artemis Fowl is an Irish prodigy. So when they showed the series and they showed the film, and they're like, oh, hello, and I'm like, fucking strangle you. That's Irish. He's Irish. He's Irish. You had the one chance to recruit a young Irish actor, and you fucked it. You gave it to a British little bastard who didn't fucking need it.
Yes. Hollywood doesn't like any accent that isn't English, because obviously anybody who is Scottish, Welsh, or Irish is told not to use their original accent.
The only person
To
I'm
be
ever
more
content,
marketable.
the only person I've ever been content to see that with, is with oh, hang on a second, let me get his name right. Cillian Murphy, who plays Thomas Shelby in Peaky Blinders, where he has to like do a different accent. That is fine because he has to do a very, again, I doubt he does exactly an English accent or a Birmingham accent, but the accent he does, you go, no, that's Thomas Shelby. He's from Birmingham. You know, like you look and go, oh, that's just Thomas Shelby. Like you can recognize the character.
Yeah. It also doesn't help that unfortunately there are people in the world who are degenerate. So the moment you give people what their actual accent is, you go into cinema and they're like, huh? Can't understand you, and it's like, oh my god.
You can understand them plenty. Just, stop chewing for 5 fucking seconds and listen, you such and such words I can't say on. Yes, okay, I'm behaving. I'm behaving. I'm not.
You have to behave or you're not going to get invited.
Why is that actually hard? Fuck. I want to tell someone who I've never met in this hypothetical situation to several slurs off themselves, and I can't. Anyway. Fantastic series. Legitimately always enjoyed it. Always enjoyed the series. And okay. Now I'm doing my head in. So let me just look up the Artemis Fowl series. So I'm trying to remember if I've read up to the 3rd book or if I've only read the 2nd book fully. So let's see. Yeah, Captain Hollyshort is the elven police officer from the Lower Element Police, the LEP. That's the character. And the first book is she literally gets found by she just gets found by Artemis himself, who was like, okay, hang on a sec, magic exists. I'm going to like lock you up, and while I do that, I'm going to figure out what the fuck you are. If someone comes to me for you, I'm going to ransom you because, well, I'm going to get something off of that. And you turn this place into a fucking fortress because people are going to come for her. Which, he's right, they do. And it is actually really clever, everything he does do, to his credit. Like, it's one of those moments of, oh, he's actually intelligent. We love to see it. Briar Cudgeon, I remember now. And Opal, oh, I'm remembering all these names now. I have to check this again because I'm trying to remember where this character dies because I love this character.
Oh dear.
Because I know he does get killed.
Don't say his name.
Oh, of course not. Right. Yeah. because I know the character gets killed in the. It's not Artemis, by the way, in case anyone's curious. Because that bastard, if he does die, the whole premise of the book is he dies at the start of it. Now we're going to try and get him back.
Yeah, you don't have a book otherwise.
You don't. Congratulations, guys! We destroyed the Lord of the Rings in the first like 3 pages. Now what? And it's like, well, shit. Now I gotta do whatever the fuck we gotta do with the Lord of the Rings after the fact. You really are Warhammer 40,000," said the Emperor as Horus was killing him. But it was in the 3rd book, and it's still one of my favorite like reveals, because you as the audience don't know what has been done, and the character is there going, why are they being so fucking confident? They shouldn't be being this confident. I have them in a kill box. And it's like, oh fuck it, just kill them then. And then there's that moment of like realization, and all the gears start turning of, wait, if they did this, what's going on with it? And then all the elements come into place. It's just, oh, it's one of those ones where as a kid, you know, when you start like leaning in and leaning in and leaning in, and then you just nose the book and you just want to go next page, give it all to me. Oh, so good. Such a good fucking series.
It's good stuff.
Read the Artemis Fowl series. Read the Artemis Fowl series. Blue, I did it again. I rambled and now we're past 11 o'clock.
I mean, I was focusing, so.
Whoopsie doodle. Did I do that?
Wow. Okay, well now we resemble more of an owl.
Everyone is fond of owls, except mice and shrews. Simon Cowles.
Tomorrow's probably going to be the nitty-gritty of trying to assemble some feet and some quote-unquote hands, because currently we've just got little nubs that have feathers on them. But it at least looks more owl-shaped.
Yes.
Right, close that. Close that. Save that. And I'm gonna go make that cup of tea.
Heck yeah, Batman.
Hell yeah. Thank you so much, everybody, for hanging out tonight. And I shall see you tomorrow for more of this, and maybe Cult of the Lamb, maybe Palia. We'll basically see how I feel. If I'm feeling sleepy, it's Palia, and if I feel like I'm actually awake and able to, like, fight things, then it's gonna be Palia. Cult of the Lamb. Right. Time for a cup of tea. Time for sleep. All that jazz.
Heck yeah.
I hope to see you all tomorrow. Thank you for keeping me company, Daz.
My pleasure, and it reawakened my love of Artemis Fowl. So honestly, I am eating good today. I am content in my day.
I'm sure. I imagine Cardiff must have a big library. You can probably go.
I definitely still have some of those books somewhere. I will find that series because I have the editions from 2000 when the books originally came out, and I will fucking find them.
Nice. Yeah, as I said, I wanted to, with my bookshelf being present in my room, I am rediscovering reading, which is also nice. So I'm probably going to sit and read some more while I have my tea. Right, see you all tomorrow. I hope to see you all there. Have a good night. Bye!
Take care, folks.
I didn't know what else to say, so bye!
Bye!
Bye!